Hello. Welcome to another Joyful Gym with Audrey Joy. When I pray, at the end of my prayer time, once I've made my requests be known to God, as they say, oftentimes, just sit quietly and see what He has to say to me. And in those quiet moments, sometimes He convicts me of things. Sometimes He simply assures me of His love for me. Sometimes He gives me direction or insight into a challenge I'm having, or a problem, or a particular situation. But I've spent enough time with Him that I know His voice and I can distinguish His voice from my voice. I'll give you a couple of examples. A few days after my dad passed in September, I was wrapping up my quiet time and my prayer time, and I just simply asked the Lord, "What do you need me to know for today?" And I expected something having to do with my probably way too long to-do list, or maybe some insight or direction or input into a situation I was dealing with. But I got something really, really different. Almost immediately after I asked the question, I heard, "Your dad's doing great." Like super enthusiastic and excited. And wow, I really didn't expect that at all. And I thank the Lord for letting me know. I mean, I knew, right? How can you not be doing great in the presence of Jesus? But it was just such a sweet thing for the Lord to do, to give me that little bit of reassurance and encouragement. Well, a few days ago, I was sifting through my Joyful Gem idea file, and I came across a note I wrote way back on January 2nd of this year. It was an idea for a Joyful Gem based on John 15:15, and that's one's going to have to wait for another day. It's what I'd written below that just really blew me away. And I can tell based on the way I'd written it down that the Lord had given me some clear insight in my prayer time. There were three things that I'd written. The first I'd written was yielding trust, and I had that in quotes. Really good advice from the Lord, right? But again, that's another topic for another day. The second thing I'd written was get out of your own way. Oh man, do I need to hear that? Because I'm in my own way an awful lot. But again, another topic for another day. It was the third thing that I'd written down that just blew my socks off. It said, buckle up, and then dash regarding mom and dad. Wow. January 2nd of this year. I was focused on my husband's health issues. He was literally 3 weeks out from his below knee amputation. My parents were fine. They were living independently. They were still driving. They were basically managing their lives and doing pretty well for an 88-year-old woman and a 98-year-old man. The biggest issues we were having was that we knew mom's memory wasn't what it used to be. And later there would be a confirmed diagnosis of Alzheimer's. We weren't too sure she should still be in charge of handling their medications. And well, they were 88 and 98 at the time. And over the spring and summer, they would go on to have their 89th and 99th birthday. But we were operating under the really good advice of my older brother. He had said, until something changes, there's no need for anything to change. We were just kind of cruising along on autopilot. Well, the Lord gave me fair warning, nearly 5 months ahead of time. Buckle up. And He wasn't wrong. Well, of course He wasn't wrong. He's God, right? As it often happens in situations like this, things change significantly and suddenly, and also rapidly. I'm so grateful Dad didn't have his first stroke until my husband had had his prosthetic for a few weeks and was able to operate independently in the many, many weeks I was up in South Dakota over the last few months. And honestly, he was pretty much a trooper about it, and I thank him for that. But I believe the Lord was getting me ready for what was to come. And even though I'd completely forgotten about the admonishment, that doesn't mean the Spirit wasn't at work in me, quietly getting me ready, quietly preparing me. And the Lord gave me the strength to get through that part of the test. And I say it that way because, let's be honest, it is not over. Navigating the mom waters is a pretty tough deal. And while I have no idea, of course, how things are going to play out with her, I am braced for impact. God is in charge of this deal. I'm just along for the ride with my seatbelt securely fastened, and I'm buckled up tight with the assurance that He is guiding me and He is directing me day by day with that still small voice. And if He can tell me with enthusiasm, your dad's doing great, or buckle up, He most definitely can guide me through the decisions I need to make regarding mom's care. If you found value in this gem, hit that like button at the bottom of your screen and share it with a friend. Or you can get on my website and follow my Facebook page, This Is For Me. If you're not already a Joyful Gem subscriber, you can change that. Log into my website, thisisforme.com, or just email me, audreyjoy@thisisforme.com. Be joyful.